Many Wonders of Dreaming, Part 5. The human body is the temple of the gods. The human brace is the interface between the mind and the body. It is the organ that allows us to think, feel, and experience the world around us. The brain is also responsible for translating the information contained in our DNA into the archetypes that reside in our subconscious. Dreams are one way that our subconscious can communicate with our conscious mind. They often contain symbols and archetypes that help us to understand the hidden meaning behind our waking life experiences. Archetypes are stereotypes that we encounter in our everyday lives. They help us to understand and interpret the world around us. Authority figures get all balled together into categories, according to Carl Jung, and you get the various archetypes that he speaks of. But mostly, we get our relatives and the like. A teacher we admired in the 5th grade now appears to us at the age of 50 in a dream. Why that guy? Or maybe you dream about Snoop Dog or Pikachu for some reason. These would be personal archetypes that mean something to you in some form. We all have different relationships with the people around us. Some people are our friends, some are our enemies, and some are our mentors. But what do these relationships mean? According to Carl Jung, our relationships with the people around us are defined by our archetypes. An archetype is a universal symbol that represents a certain type of person or thing. For example, the archetype of the mother represents the caring, nurturing side of humanity, while the archetype of the father represents the protective, provider side. Jung believed that we all have different archetypes that define our relationships with the people around us. These archetypes can be positive or negative, depending on our experiences with them. For example, if we have a positive experience with a father figure, we may develop the archetype of a wise mentor. If we have a negative experience, depending upon the personality of the father, we may develop the archetype of a captor or a punisher. And this can cause us to act out or respond in ways which usually do not turn out so well. But it doesn't have to be that way. Neuroplasticity is the ability of the brain to change and adapt in response to experience. It is a core principle of neuroscience and has been shown to play a role in everything from learning and memory to the development and recovery from brain injury. There is growing evidence that neuroplasticity is also involved in the development of criminal behavior. Various studies have shown that exposure to violence, abuse, and other environmental factors can lead to changes in the brain that are associated with an increased risk of criminal behavior. And while there is still a bit to learn about the role of neuroplasticity in criminal behavior, the evidence to date suggests that it is an important factor to consider in the development of programs and policies aimed at reducing crime. Each archetype is adapted according to the culture that accesses it. They are preserved in religious literature and folklore. The god who controls lightning in the Norse pantheon is the son of the one-eyed Allfather. The god who controls lightning in ancient Hindu scriptures is the King of Heaven, which is different than the Christian King of Heaven. But each culture has one. Archetypes are cross-cultural patterns that are embedded in the human psyche. They are distilled from our collective experience and are found in every culture in some form or another. Archetypes help us make sense of our world and give us a common language to discuss universal human experiences. They are the blueprint for our lives and provide a framework for understanding who we are and who we are meant to be. It is interesting to note that the Hindu temples and Solomon's temple are said to have been based on the anatomy of the human body. In this way, the inner experiences of a culture which are shared become expressed in a larger fashion. The response to non-duality inclines us to help our communities. What may seem to some as mere superstitions have now become cultural, psychological processes of maturity. The internet has been a game changer when it comes to religious beliefs. With easy access to a variety of religious ideologies, people are no longer confining to their belief system of their upbringing. This has led to a lot of religious tensions and debates as people try to figure out what they believe. There are those who argue that theology should be limited to the private sphere and that it should not be used to control the masses. On the other hand, there are those who believe that religion should be a part of public life and that it can be used to promote morality. It is clear that society is changing and that the internet is playing a role in this change. As we continue to navigate this new landscape, it is important to be respectful of others' beliefs. Keep all this in mind to ponder as you wrap yourself in your body of light, drifting off to pass through hypnagogia into the temple of God. Tune in next week to find out what exciting thing I'm going to say. Real masters have no need to advertise. It's called a cult for a reason. It's between you and God. The author, magical, is not a qualified psychologist or therapist in any fashion. Please seek the help of a qualified professional if you need to. However, I hope for this series of posts to help others as I explore myself and discuss dreams and other related things. So feel free to comment if you like, as I'm always willing to learn. Tell your friends. Love, magical.